Hey everybody, I am still in San Francisco and I came over to meet a friend of mine that I have known for years. We were just trying to figure out how long I've actually known her. We can't remember. It's been a long time. But it's Alison Antelman. Did I say your name right?
Absolutely.
Alison Antelman, and she has the most beautiful jewelry. If any of you guys remember back in the art jewelry days, I wrote an article and it was a lily pendant, and it was that shell forming and making of the spiculums, not speculum, spiculums. No, we don't need any of those. Spiculums. And Alison has them down to a T, and they are beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you guys to Alison, show you her work, and I've just spent probably the last 30 minutes distracting her from work. And she went through and showed me her design process, what she thinks about, how she makes things, and she's going to share that with us as well. And I figured that was perfect for a weekend jewelry school because as you guys get into making jewelry, it's really a good idea to know how to do some of this, or it gives you kind of an idea of some of the things you should think about. So let me turn you around, show you guys Alison. I'm going to show you some of her work because it's beautiful, and I finally get to see it in person. And if you guys ever get a chance to, and I'm going to tell you guys, she teaches classes. Woo! Then they are amazing. So I will share with you guys her class schedule a little bit, and then welcome for being on your first live, Lorraine, and I'm so glad that you're on my live channel today. If I miss saying anything about your comments, I apologize. So after I get the video done, I will post her information, her contact information, and I will post some of the information that we talk about, like where she's got her classes, the different class schedules. So give me like tonight or tomorrow, and I will get that information up there. So first of all, this is Alison. So hello, Alison.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for coming to my studio. It's so nice to meet you in person.
I know, and I'm so glad that you had me. And Alison is like 15 minutes from where I'm staying while I'm here. So look at this stuff. And I know that there's a little bit of glare here. Actually, let me come down this way. Now there's no glare. So like I said, these spiculums, these are this kind of that form that tapers. Oh, look at this. So it tapers on the ends, and then you've kind of got that wider middle section there. And check out this box clasp. So this is something that definitely takes a little bit of time and effort. And see this, like she's got these hinges all over in here, so it's an articulating piece. It looks very comfortable. So this one's, what karat gold are you working with on this?
18 and 22 karat gold. I use 22 karat around the stone because I really like the contrast of the richness of the gold. And then the oxidized silver, I think, makes the gold pop.
Right. I love that. And she does all kinds of stuff. So while she definitely has a body of work, her pieces are one of a kind. And she will also do different pieces upon request. So if you see something that you like, which we all like this, I would hope, you can always contact her and she will do custom pieces. And she uses all sorts of stuff. Like I was just looking at a few of her pieces that had sea glass in it. And then she's of course got all these different gemstones. So there's tourmaline, when there was sapphires, rubies. I'm assuming you've got diamonds in some of these as well.
Yes. Watermelon tourmaline, which is a favorite of mine.
Right. So you see kind of what her work is, and it's pretty involved. Let me come around, and I want to show you a couple of things that she was showing us. So look at this. In her studio, this has hardly any lights on. She's got these beautiful skylights, which gives the most wonderful light. So this is what she was showing us. She's got a few of these in progress right now. And this one is a pin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and there's the little map. I make maps for my designs. This way, if I step away from the project, it'll guide me back to it. And it also provides a reference in the future for how I did something or what size of something I used.
And so then you have notes here that show like the cost of whatever the material is as you're making it?
Yes.
And then she was saying that because of her schedule, she has a lot of different things that she tries to get ready. So that way if somebody does put in a custom order, she can easily grab the materials, throw the piece together, and it's going to be faster than if she gets the order and then has to pull out the template, draw it out, cut it out, and get that all ready to go, right?
Yes, exactly.
So that is one of the things you can think about, is having some of your components ready all the time. And that way then it goes a little bit faster. And so this is where a lot of the magic happens, of course.
And my studio is very messy. Every surface is used right now because I have so many different projects going.
I want your messy studio. Mine is so bad right now.
Here's my soldering station.
Yep, so we have a solder. Now you have, I noticed over here you've got, so there's the polishing, but you have lapidary. So do you cut your own stones, or do you just modify?
I don't cut my own stones yet. I really, I need more time to play and learn. I do modify stones, but it's something I've always wanted to do, and
Okay.
I just need to schedule a workshop with myself.
Right. Oh, and you know, I found that lapidary is not my forte. I like doing it. So again, she has, you'll see, I mean, everything is kind of laid out. So here she's got like the little pieces already, and then she has the stones that she will set with those. So independents like this. And she was showing me that she had like this. So this, she doesn't know what it's going to be yet. We know that it's going to be a pendant, but it depends on what somebody wants for that particular stone. And so she has the little components that are ready. And so when it comes in, or an order or whatever, then she can just take the components and put those together. She's so organized. Look at this.
And here's a project that I've been thinking about. Certain things I just let simmer in my mind, and these are going to be hinged earrings similar to the bracelets that I make. I've never done an earring like this before, so
now you also, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but it doesn't, you never, or you don't always start a project start to finish. Sometimes it takes you a year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing to think about, is that you might have an idea and you might begin that idea. So here's this idea that she had, and I will show you, there's actually here the idea that didn't work. So it was started, and this one you said you started like
in October.
And you just finished it
a couple weeks ago.
And there it is. So don't be upset or think that you have to come up with your piece and see it through from start to finish. Things can take months at a time. So now I want to show you guys on this paper as well, if I could not drop things. Here's where her planning stuff is as well. So she tries to keep a tally of the metals that she's using, the stones that she's using, and that's going to help her with her costs. And then by having this map, which I never do, this is so smart. I need to do more of this. This is a good idea.
Well, you know, with especially over the holidays, I stepped away from shows. I originally started this piece by making all the forms, and then I had to figure out what palette I wanted to use, which, you know, when you can choose whatever you want, sometimes it's hard.
Right.
And I saw these gem silica stones, and the light bulb went off. This palette I've never actually used in my work. So I'm really loving these colors.
And hopefully this shows up, you guys. So we've got greens, that blue green, and is it black, and the golds.
Right, rutilated quartz is the gold, and there's
Okay.
some diamonds in there. And the black, there's natural tourmaline crystals. Then there's some black diamonds, and the gem silica, rutilated quartz. So there's a variety of stones in here.
And to show you guys too, so she's got this colored on her map as well.
So the map helps when I step away and work on other projects and come back to it. Otherwise, I would, you know, come back and not know where I'm at. Plus, I don't use calibrated stones, so all the stones are laid out specifically where they go. So, you know, I couldn't have a cat jumping on the counter in the studio.
That might make for interesting things. So she has these all laid out right now. These are ready for photographing. So everything is polished and cleaned up. Look how pretty.
Approach. with a bicolored tourmaline.
That's awesome.
I like to say the stones are the palette that I draw from.
And that is such a neat way to do that. I love those. They're so pretty. Now, this is a class that she's going to be teaching. You guys, I've been sitting here clicking these. These are all different types of box clasps. And you are teaching these where?
So I'm teaching at Metalworks in Massachusetts, Waltham, Massachusetts. That's July. I'm teaching at Colorado School of Metalsmithing in Pueblo, Colorado. And that is late June, early July. And going backwards, let's see.
Was there any?
Studio JSD. I'm teaching another class called Tubing Technical, and that is in June.
And for those that don't know, JSD is Julie Sanford. So Julie Sanford Designs is JSD Studio, or Studio JSD.
And then I'm also teaching at Lilla Street right before the SNAG conference, the class workshop. That's a 3-day workshop in Chicago in about May 19th.
Okay.
And it's all listed on my website.
And your website is what?
It's Antelman.com.
Antelman.com. All right. And like I said, you guys, I will put that information out there. So here she's got a lot of different samples of different ways that you can do the box clasp. And this is a ball catch, right?
Yeah, a key clasp.
Or key clasp.
The key drops in, slides forward,
And you
the
lock
safety
it.
snaps shut. Both of these clasps, I like them because they could really fit your own style. And you can make your clasp under a dome, a hydraulic press piece, something that's been chased, roller printed, anything you could think of, you can make a clasp out of.
Right, and it can be the focal, and then it can also be, you've just been called ingenious, just so you know. You can do it as your focal piece. You can also do it as just a component, or it could even be something that just sits at the back of the neck. But I don't know why you'd want to if you go through this much work to make it beautiful.
And so these clasps take a lot of work, and what I always like to tell people is just think about, even with a simple hook clasp, you can make it your own. You can set a stone on it or use an element from the rest of your piece to customize it. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be this complicated. This is more of a major kind of piece, and I love fabricating these. And in the workshop, everyone will make each clasp, but the clasp class in at Metalworks and at Colorado Center for Metalsmithing, those are 5-day classes. They're extended versions. I've never done that before. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a front clasp necklace, but we're not using any jump rings. So in my workshops, there are a lot of fabrication challenges, I like to call them. And so you get your exercise in with creating this front clasp necklace, and the way we connect it to the rest of the piece is challenging. Plus, the chain we use is stainless steel, so you learn to solder stainless steel to sterling silver. And it's just a nice alternative material to use.
So if somebody were to come and take the class, you would say that they need to have intermediate skills, or are these, beginner? I mean, obviously.
I would say advanced beginner. If you're comfortable soldering, then you can take this class.
Okay.
But I've also taught pros who get something out of the class as well.
Right. Now, that soldering with a torch doesn't count if it's a soldering iron. Don't even think about that. Soldering with a torch. I can't tell you how many people have come to my classes. Yes, I have soldering experience. No, you do not.
Well, I have soldered with a torch. I built my LED lights. So
Okay, nice.
this is from Tubing Technical. It's another workshop I teach. The students learn to make your own tubing. And people say, why do I need to make this when I could just buy it? Well, everything that you might want doesn't necessarily exist in a catalog.
Right.
The other thing is, if you're working in gold, often there's a minimum, and you might need to make a large piece of tubing for, say, a 1-carat diamond, and to order it in gold, you have to order 3 inches, and that might cost you so much, and you only need a little bit of it.
Right.
So it's good to know how to make tubing.
Yeah, that's one of the projects that's even in Alan Revere's book coming up. So those of you guys that are following through that professional jewelry making series that I'm doing with Tool Time Tuesday, we will be talking about making your own tubing.
And that's a great book with very cohesive step-by-step. So I love that book. So we also bend the tubing and make it as our bail. And then with this triangular piece, it's domed, so it's actually very tricky soldering the hinges on. The other thing we make is a setting for a faceted stone. So this is actually, it's a telescoped setting. So in other words, there's a seat inside and then the outer bezel to set the stone.
Nice.
And the reason why I picked a stone that's not round is if you could build a setting for a trillion, you could build it for any shaped stone.
Right, because in your squares and your pairs where you've got your points and the round.
This is the one I'm teaching at Julie Sanford's.
Oh, lovely. I want to come. Oh, these are amazing. Fantastic. Well, anything else you want to say?
Well, I think it's really great to work on those one-of-a-kind projects, but also you need the satisfaction of finishing pieces. So I always recommend working on a lot of pieces or several pieces at once with different levels of time that it takes.
Right.
But always challenge yourself. And you know, often when I teach, people think it's easy for me to make what I make, but I'm always pushing myself, and so there's plenty of foot stomping and
That never happens. Come on. None of us ever do that. Pieces never get chucked in my studio. All right. Well, thank you. So you guys, I hope you guys kind of are having fun with some of these live series. It was, like I said, you know, kind of serendipitous that I didn't get the video that I had edited and everything uploaded, but it's been such a fun time here in San Francisco this week, and I cannot wait to share with you guys a little bit more about why I came and what I've been doing. And they've said that you make beautiful pieces. So, and I'm so grateful because I finally got to meet, there's a couple of people that I finally got to meet that I've known for ages and ages, and I have always adored Alison's work. And I wanted to say too, she said, you know, a lot of times people think that something is easy for her. And Alison, I would really hope that these little spiculums now are easy for you. There's a reason. Did you just see how many I just showed you? Like, she's made a gazillion of them. And so it's frustrating sometimes to have to go through that process again and again and again, but that's how you get good. So I hope okay, it's the end of the week for me and I'm just done. So I don't speak well right now. I don't English well at all. But anyway, I hope that it kind of helps to see how somebody who is a professional in this series kind of manages things. Now, what she didn't tell you is that in addition to teaching and making this beautiful jewelry, now do you have your pieces in galleries as well?
a few galleries.
Okay, so she's got galleries, but here's the kicker. She also does a lot of high-end shows, and that's going to take a lot of time because you have to do your traveling, and means you got to schlep all your crap, which is never fun. And then she's teaching on top of that, which means that she's also preparing samples and classes and handouts and everything. So for somebody like this, you have to really kind of have a game plan in mind, because if you don't, you can get, snowballed quite quickly, and it just gets out of control. So, Alison, thank you so much. Here, I'm going to come this way.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm so glad.
Or thank you so much for visiting my
Well, you have me, so thank you. All right, you guys, have a good rest of the weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Tool Time Tuesday is probably going to be a little bit late. I don't fly back home till Monday. So there may or may not be a Tool Time Tuesday, but there will be a weekend jewelry school next week, so I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.
Bye.
If I can figure out how to end it.